to do the swim to that song.
Oh, no.
I'm going to introduce a gentleman to you now who will be familiar to those of you between, oh, let's say 25 and 40. And for the rest of you, his name is Phil Volk. He was known as Fang. He's in Paul Revere and the Raiders. And his wife, Tina Mason. Good morning and welcome to both of you. This is all a tremendous flashback for a lot of us. To see you and to meet you in person. I would have killed to meet you when I was 16. I'm still delighted to meet you.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
You were a member of Paul Revere and the Raiders for how many years?
It was almost 3 years, between 65 and 67.
How did you first become involved? The band was going before you joined, right?
Right, but I started playing with my own little band in Paul Revere's teenage nightclub in Boise, Idaho. And then I went to college, and my guitar player went with Paul. And about a year later, the guitar player said, hey, Paul needs a bass player. You better start learning how to play the bass. Because I didn't play the bass.
And so they gave you, is that the hat you wore?
My honorary hat.
Your honorary
I figured I'm a little bit hoarse because we're singing every night. And it's still kind of early in the morning. Is it light outside yet?
Good morning.
Maybe people wouldn't recognize me unless I had my hat, so I thought I'd better bring it along just in case.
Do you still wear it in your act?
Yeah, we do some of the old Raider tunes in the act.
How did you meet Tina?
On Where the Action Is.
The television program?
Right.
Is it true that you were a go-go dancer? Was I right when I said that?
Well, not really. I was hired as a singer, but every once in a while I would join the dancers and do the monkey or whatever they were doing. So I did some dancing, but I was mainly the singer on the show.
Was it love at first sight? Boy, this is a romantic show today.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was.
Is it really? Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you the same questions that we asked some of the women who were with us earlier in the program. On the road, there must have been all kinds of girls throwing hotel keys at you and notes and making all kinds of offers to take you out on dates and other offers.
We better not discuss it here.
Was that a little difficult for you to deal with, being suddenly thrust into the limelight like that?
It was pretty sudden after coming right out of college because it's a whole different lifestyle, kind of living in the fast lane. But with all the security, we were always, whisked away in a limousine and off to the hotel about 20 miles out of town, so we never really saw anybody, actually.
Come on.
Oh, it's a real quiet, humble lifestyle.
Were you married while he was still with the band?
We got married after he left the Raiders. But we had a silent crush on each other for about a year. But we were too cool to admit it. But we had fun with it for a while. And then I went on the road with the Raiders for a month, and then we got married shortly after that.
All right, now I've been doing my research here. I've been reading Flip magazine from 1966, and they said, where will you be, Phil Volk, in 10 years?
Uh-oh.
And here's what you said, just for sense. It's 1970, is the year.
Right.
I'm 31, and I think I've still got all my teeth, most of my hair, a good deal of my wit, some energy, a small smile, and the biggest lawn in Oregon. You said you wanted to be a novelist in Oregon.
You're kidding?
No.
Here I am in Oregon. And it's funny,
He's quite a novelty, too.
No, novelist. Oh. The writing was something you wanted to get into. Have you done any of that?
A little bit, but not a whole lot. I've done a little creative writing. Mainly I got into scoring some films and commercials and stuff like that, which is an exciting field, musically speaking. But I still like writing.
Are you based in Oregon now? Or are you just up here to perform?
Well, actually, to tell you the truth, we are looking at Oregon in the Northwest as a place to relocate because we want to get out of Southern California and come up here to God's country.
Boy, you are the #1 most popular man on television in Portland this morning.
We like trees.
You still know how to please the crowd, right?
Oh, boy.
We're going to take a break right now. If you have a question for, I want to say Phil, I want to say Fang. If you have a question for Phil, old habits are hard to break, Phil.
That's all right.
The telephone number in Portland is 231-4252. In Vancouver, it's 696-1881. And we have an Oregon toll-free number, 1-800-452-2487. Ask the question you've been wanting to ask him for 20 years. We'll be right back.
More questions?
Rock your woman, it's a Louie Louie ride. Because of Uncle Sam's deal.
Of course you look the same. Phil Volk, Fang from Paul Revere and the Raiders, and Tina Mason, our guest this morning. You just asked if you look the same. Of course you do. We recognize you. We have a telephone question for you. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm calling from Portland. And my question is, do you ever see Mark Lindsay and Paul Revere anymore?
We just saw Paul in Boise. In fact, we stayed at his house. We just did an engagement in Boise, and he was very hospitable. We stayed at his house and visited till wee hours in the morning talking about the good old days.
He was so bizarre in the good old days.
Oh, he's more bizarre than ever.
Really?
In fact, he has a group that's playing the Nevada circuit. If you ever get a chance, go see Paul Revere and the Raiders. One of the funniest bands around.
Was he like that backstage, too?
Nutsy. Crazy.
Nutsy all the time?
We were crazy all the time. Never a dull moment. It was fun.
Yes. Sue Katie, Oregon City.
Hi.
I'd like to know the nickname Fang. Did you acquire that when you were young, or did it happen?
I had a feeling that question was going to come up.
How many times have you answered
I
this?
still haven't found a good answer, except I used to tease Paul about his nose a lot. And he used to tease me about my teeth, you know, my oversized dentifrice. So we just decided everybody needed a handle in the group. You know, he was Uncle Paul and Harpo, guitar player, so I put Fang on the back of my bass and it stuck, so everybody liked it. He went from there.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm from Tigard, and I wanted to know, I had heard that the Raiders were originally from the Lake Oswego area. Is that true?
Well, I know that Smitty, the drummer, lived in Beaverton for a while, and we kind of called Portland our home base because Roger Hart, our manager, was a disc jockey on Kissin' Radio here, and we did a lot of dances here, D Street Corral and the old Civic Auditorium. And
Look at all these people nodding.
remember those days? D Street was pretty wild, and the Armory and the Crisco parties. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, yes. Just whisked into those limousines.
It was just a legend.
Yeah, the Crisco parties were in the limousines, right?
No, that-
Okay. We have another question.
Ella Jackson from Battleground, and I want to know if you have any children and are they into music?
Why don't you answer that one?
Mom.
Yes, we do have children. We have 3 children. Their ages are 3, Brian, no, 3.5, 13, Kelly, our daughter, and Christian, who's almost 14.
He's
And
almost 15.
He's almost 15. What did I say?
He's almost 14.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's going to kill you when you get
Sorry,
home.
Oh, Mom.
He's almost 15, and they're all very talented and in music, yes.
Would you encourage them to go into music?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
If he formed some kind of a band and said, Dad, I'm going to go on the road next year when I'm 15.
They may join our band. You never know.
He keeps wanting to cut a record. I said, well, learn how to play an instrument first.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I'm calling from Portland. Do you remember a very secretive thing in the teen magazines about a friend of Smitty's named Art Raz?
Art Raz.
Has the identity ever come to the fore?
Tell us the story.
There is an Art Raz, but the only time that his picture appeared in a magazine, you know, they had one of those big black bars in front of his face. You know, we always wanted to keep him kind of secret.
Why? Who was he?
He was just,
What's the big secret?
it's just like Deep Throat in the Watergate scandal. We always wanted to have our secret little insider that no one knew who was or what his face looked like. We were always making up crazy, nutsy things like that, you know. And people just caught on to it and kept promoting the rumor.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, I'm from Beaverton, and I was wondering what Mark Lindsay is doing these days, and how come we don't hear him singing anymore?
Mark is in Hollywood. He's still producing for various record companies. I haven't seen him in a while. We all got together on a reunion about in 1978. The original Raiders did a national reunion on TV with Dick Clark.
So, and you played some of your old tunes again. Did you still remember them?
Oh yeah, someone said 1, 2, 3, 4, and we started playing. It came out.
Literally all it took. You didn't rehearse or
No, it came out the same way.